Good morning, ladies and gents. It's Nick at Optima PS. Thank you very much for coming back to my channel, and today is an exciting day. I wanted to talk to you quite early this morning because we've had some great news overnight, for me at least. I'm over in Asia, so I'm roughly 12 hours ahead of the US, depending on where you are. But I've woke up to the news this morning that Ripple has announced that they are launching a stablecoin, which is fantastic news, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in a few moments. Basically, we're going to look at today what exactly is a stablecoin. What does it mean? What does it mean for the market? What does it mean for Ripple? Most importantly, to us guys, what does it mean to holders of cryptocurrencies in general? And in my case, particularly XRP, because we are talking about Ripple after all. And how does it bridge into traditional finance? Because as much as you guys may not want this to be the case, the simple fact of the matter is we need cryptocurrency and traditional finance to bridge, or we're never going to see the real, true gains that we all want to see because the rest of the world just won't let us get involved. So let's talk about that in a little bit more detail. First thing to say, I've mentioned this a few times before to you guys who know me. I am a financial advisor, but I'm definitely not your financial advisor. I'm most likely not even regulated in the country where you live. So what that means is that anything I say or do in this video today should not be taken as financial advice. I can discuss the world, I can discuss what's happening, I can share some opinions, but I'm just a guy on the internet like you, sharing my own personal opinions, and this is absolutely not my professional financial advice. So moving forwards, if you like what I say in this video today, please do like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me with YouTube's algorithms. It helps me to grow the channel, and it also helps me to know that people are actually listening to what I have to say, and I'm bringing some value to the community. So I really would appreciate if you could smash that like button. But getting back to where we are today then with this conversation, the title of this video is Stablecoins Come to Save the Day, and they do come to save the goddamn day. They're here because we need them here in this space. I mean, this is a tweet from Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, and what he says is launching a stablecoin is a natural step for Ripple as we bridge the gap between traditional finance and crypto. We have 1, the years of experience, 2, the regulatory footprint, 3, a strong balance sheet, and 4, a network with near global coverage to offer the best of crypto-enabled payments using XRP and our future stablecoin together. I don't care who you are. If you don't find that exciting, there's something wrong. You're in the wrong space. I've seen so much FUD this morning on the internet. People who are Bitcoin maxis or just those guys. I call them ABX, which is anyone but XRP. I don't know why, but there's this whole community out there that just seems to hate Ripple and XRP. They don't get it. They're dead against it. Maybe it's because they're Bitcoin maxis and they see XRP as the main contender to come and take that crown. I don't know. I think there's plenty of space out there for 3 or 4 major crypto projects. And I don't care what anyone says. Ripple and XRP are one of them. They've maybe fallen from the top positions back in the glory days where they knocked Ethereum off that number 2 spot for a short space of time. And that's always going to happen when you get attacked by the Securities and Exchange Commission, as they have been. But you look at what Ripple have done in the background, and you can't help but see this is an amazing project that is out there to take over the world. The guys that are footing this project, they don't understand, they don't know. I've seen so much this last couple of days, people saying, oh, Ripple is this, that, the other. They've not even got any partnerships. They've not got anything. Why do you think the banks are so scared of Ripple? And of course the banks are scared of Ripple. That's why the SEC have been attacking them for the last 4 years. I don't care what anyone says. They're not doing this for the good of the people. They're doing this because the people that, let's say, support them want this thing slowing down or stopped until they're ready to profiteer on the back of this company. They're never going to stop it now. The train's left the station, as people say. They're moving forwards too much. They could have killed it perhaps in the first year or two, but it's too late now. So we're in this weird position where there is a lot of FUD out there. There are a lot of people saying things about this project and about this company. I just don't think they understand. I don't think they've done enough research to see exactly what this company has been doing behind the scenes. Some of that is because the information is being protected because of this court case. That will all come out in short time now. We're approaching the end of this court case, whatever end that may be. I think it's going to be a very successful end to Ripple. Other people maybe not, but whatever that end may be, we're approaching a position where a fine will be paid, a slap on the wrist will be issued, and the company will then move forwards in whatever way they can after the fine. It could be a big detrimental fine, it could be a smaller one, I suspect smaller personally. But wherever we are, we're moving forwards, and these guys will see everything that Ripple's been doing in the background, and I can't believe they all still have the same negative view once they see the full picture. The information's out there, but some people just don't want to go out and do the research. Anyway, moving back to today's conversation. So something underneath that post from Brad Garlinghouse was another one from Ripple, and it basically says the stablecoin market is booming, around 150 billion today, and projected to soar past 2.8 trillion by 2028. There's a clear demand for trust, stability, and utility. But why am I so excited about it? As you know, I'm from the traditional finance background. I'm very, very keen on the crypto world. I see it as the future of finance. I hope I've got that right. I can never guarantee it, but I think I have. I hope I have. But the reason I'm so excited is that this provides legitimacy, better regulatory clarity to the crypto world, to XRP and to Ripple in particular in this actual case, but in the grand scheme of things, to the crypto world. The big banks tried a long time to try and stop this. They're now adopting it because they know if you can't beat them, join them. And this bridges that gap in a very, very understandable way. Because stablecoins are essentially a pegged currency. And a pegged currency is something that's very well known in the financial world and been very successful over the years. The big banks get it, they understand it. From a regulatory point of view, the regulators get it, they understand it. This is going to bridge that gap between traditional finance and crypto in the simplest way because everyone knows how it works. They know what it does. Now, in terms of where we stand with this, the first question is probably to look at how stablecoins actually work. I mean, if I skip through here, this is Investopedia's explanation. They say stablecoin is a cryptocurrency which has a value that is pegged or tied to that of another currency, commodity, or financial instrument. Yeah, moving through over here, what is a stablecoin again? The explanation is very similar. In fact, if we take a look down, stablecoins are a type of cryptocurrency whose value is pegged to another asset, such as a fiat currency, gold, to maintain a stable price. They strive to provide an alternative to the high volatility of popular cryptocurrencies, making them potentially more suitable for common transactions. And stablecoins can be utilized in various blockchain-based financial services and can even be used to pay for goods and services. So, how do stablecoins maintain their value? Stablecoins are a type of cryptocurrency that seeks to maintain a stable value by pegging their market value to the external reference. This reference could be fiat currency like the US dollar, a commodity such as gold, or another financial instrument. And the primary goal of stablecoins is to provide an alternative to the high volatility of popular cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, which can make these digital assets less suitable for common transactions. So what we're actually looking at here is the reason I want to jump on this is this here. It's the balance. You know, the simple, it's very hard to find a good visualization or infographic on how a stablecoin works. I've scoured the internet this morning. I didn't have time to design one myself. I wanted to jump straight on here and talk to you. So I've scoured the internet and I can't actually find a very good picture explanation. An infographic is the best way of showing things. I just like the way they work. We can all see it. So we've got the scales here. You've got, let's call it US dollars to keep it simple on this side. Funnily enough, this crypto's got a slight X in it there, so let's assume that's XRP, but let's call it the Ripple stablecoin for now. I don't know what stablecoin they're going to launch or what it will be called. I imagine there'll be an X in the name somewhere. But what we're looking at is a stablecoin, and essentially we're talking about a situation where it tries to peg itself to the dollar. Now, the peg doesn't have to be 1 for 1. It could be 10 to 1. It could be 1,000 to 1. I'll use the example in a moment of the Hong Kong dollar because it's probably the most successful example of currency pegging out there, and it's one I'm really familiar with because a lot of my career I spent working in finance in Hong Kong, so it's something I'm very familiar with. But essentially what we're talking about is, let's imagine the peg is a 1 for 1, and so what you want to do is you want to balance it exactly as they are there. If, for example, the US dollar were to get a little bit more valuable, you'd pop another little bit more of the stable coin on the other side to balance the scales again. And likewise, if the US dollar were to lose value, you'd take a few stable coins off the other side to keep the balance. So I'll use the example of the Hong Kong dollar. because this is probably the most successful pegging that has been out there. So why was the Hong Kong dollar pegged to the US dollar? And on September the 24th, 1983, after months of investor and consumer unease over the depreciation of the Hong Kong dollar and negotiations about the city's return to mainland rule, panic selling of the local currency drove it to an all-time low of 9.6 Hong Kong dollars to the US dollar. This was down from about 6.5 at the start of the year. So people panicked and they started selling their Hong Kong dollars because they thought that China was going to come back into Hong Kong sometime soon and that the Hong Kong dollar was going to basically disappear. So the value of the Hong Kong dollar started dropping and the government needed to bring confidence back in to the Hong Kong dollar. And so what they began to do, this says here, shops began to quote prices in US dollars and refused to accept Hong Kong dollar notes. Faced with public unrest and wavering confidence, Hong Kong's banks, which were exemplified by a run on Hang Lung Bank a year earlier, the financial secretary, who at the time was John Brembridge, if you remember this was still under British rule at the time in Hong Kong, announced the introduction of the linked exchange system, which tied or pegged the currency to the US dollar at a fixed rate on October the 17th, 1983. So here's the pegometer. This shows you now the lowest it can go is 7.75 and the highest is 7.85 against the US dollar. So they allow a little bit of fluctuation in there. You couldn't just peg it perfectly at 7.5, for example, or at 8, as would be the middle barometer here. It's a case of saying they've tied it as close as they can. They let that move ever so slightly, but they essentially keep it to round about between 7.75 and 7.85 US dollars or Hong Kong dollars to the US dollar. The Hong Kong dollar was originally set at 7.8, although it has been allowed to trade between 7.75 and 7.85 since 2005. The peg's introduction was an effort by the Hong Kong government to re-establish confidence among individuals, investors and corporations, while sending an implicit message that the city's financial system was maintaining some distance from mainland China. How does the Hong Kong dollar peg work? So the linked exchange system automatically self-corrects to maintain the stability of the Hong Kong dollar exchange rate if capital flows out of Hong Kong result in a weakening of the local currency to 7.85 per dollar, the lower end of the trading band, then the Hong Kong Monetary Authority will buy Hong Kong dollars that are held in reserve by banks, causing a reduction in banking liquidity that pushes the price or pushes market interest rates up to a level that attracts money back into the city. So essentially what they do is when the dollar gets weaker, they buy more, which then drives or reduces liquidity, drives the price up, and increases interest rates, and more people want to hold it again, and more people move back into the dollar. So it's going back to those scales. It's a balancing act. Yeah, conversely, if money flows into the city and the exchange rate strengthens to 7.75 per dollar, then the upper end of the band, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, will sell Hong Kong dollars to banks, causing an increase in bank liquidity and putting downward pressure on local interest rates that discourage capital inflows. So that essentially gives you an idea of what happens. It's all a balancing act. If the dollar gets stronger, they sell a bit. If the dollar gets weaker, the Hong Kong dollar this is, they buy a bit. And what that means is, going back to those scales, they keep it at a point where one Hong Kong dollar and one US dollar essentially balance each other out. And that's exactly what a stablecoin is. It's the same concept. So in this case, I don't know if I've even read this yet, actually, but I'm very, very confident Ripple are going to release a stablecoin pegged to the US dollar, like USDT, Tether, something like that. And what's going to happen with this is that stablecoin is going to be sat there on the ledger as a very, very stable way of exchanging US dollars to crypto. Whether you then use your Ripple stablecoin, whatever the name will be, to buy XRP, Bitcoin, or any other cryptocurrency, that's up to you. I strongly suspect what this does is this provides the regulatory and the broader financial world confidence in the ledger. This is all designed to bring external money into the system, to bring enough confidence that people are going to use the Ripple, the XRP ledger, Ripple as a company, XRP as a coin. It all ties in. I don't care what anyone says about them being different companies, which they absolutely are. But the simple fact of the matter is they're all batting for the same team, right? They're all in bed together. This is a drive to push people into using this ledger. This will bring extra development onto the ecosystem. This will bring people in, and that's exactly what it's for. Crypto purists aren't going to like the next point I make, but the simple fact of the matter is regulators and big banks and the traditional finance world will love this, and this will bring them in. And again, crypto purists, they won't like it. It means we're getting closer to the traditional finance world, but we needed it. We needed to bridge that gap, or we're going to be living in a world where it's still us 5% of the planet driving the price of crypto up and down with what is essentially tiny, tiny retail bulls and bear markets. You know, what we're talking about in the crypto world right now is a drop in the ocean compared to what is going to flow in over the next 10 years. And this type of thing, this stablecoin type thing, is what's going to bring that real money in. You know, people talk about the big banks are scared, and they are scared of the concept of crypto dethroning them. They're scared of the concept. But right now, the money that crypto takes away from traditional finance is a pittance. They don't care. A couple of $1 trillion, you know, big banks send that between one bank to another on a daily basis. They have more in those Voxy accounts tied away that they can't use on a daily basis. This type of thing, even what I do for a living, when I invest people's money, I invest into things like structured notes and other professional investor vehicles. They're normally launched, you know, expecting $100 billion to go into them on a monthly basis. This is, you know, we're talking a drop in the ocean to $2, $3 trillion at the moment. But what they're scared of is the concept of crypto replacing them. What things like this do is they keep a validity to the traditional finance world. What's more, this is going to be a major boost to the US dollar. I don't just mean this one particular stablecoin. I mean the Ripple have got on the bandwagon. Stablecoins themselves pegged to the US dollar are a major boost to the US dollar because it means the dollar stays valid. The dollar is being dropped around the world by the BRICS nations and things like this. Crypto is another danger, another threat to that. And the dollar remains valid in this case because we're going to need to peg to the US dollar. There's going to be trillions of dollars held in these stable coins that are pegged to the US dollar, which means that they also will hold US dollar on that balance sheet, which means the dollar stays relevant. That's incredibly important when it comes to convincing regulators, big banks, governments to get on board with these projects. Incredibly relevant. And so it makes us one step closer to mass adoption. One step closer. You know, there might be another 50 steps, there might be another 5,000 steps between here and global mass adoption. But this is one step closer. What it means to me personally, whose biggest bank is XRP, is it means that the XRPL is one step closer. It's another big company. It's another big project, another big coin that is offering stable coins, which are definitely a major, major bridge to the global economy. And that's what we want. You know, even me personally, I've looked at the world over the last 6 months thinking, wow, this bull run's coming. What am I going to do? Everything about the job I've done for the last 20 years tells me that when my XRP, which is my biggest bag by quite a margin, gets to the value I think is the peak of this bull market, I need to sell it. I'm scared to death of selling it and moving into fiat currency because I think there's a chance if the switch is flipped, as we like the phrase, when I've sold my XRP to fiat, let's keep it dead simple. $1 million US is a lot of money to me. My bag becomes worth $1 million, whatever that number would be in the value of XRP. I would go, wow, that's a lot of money. And I think we're top of the market. I'm going to sell my XRP, move it back to, in my case, it would be pounds. In other people's case, US dollars. In other people's case, it might be dirhams. It might be euros, depends where you are in the world. But if I were to do that, great, because when XRP then goes down, it means I can buy back in when I think the price is low again and get more XRP for my money. That's the concept, right? But what if when I try to buy back in, I can't get back in because BlackRock are now involved. There's a ETF with $1 trillion budget gobbling up every single XRP, and it means I can't get back in. I can't buy back in. The price goes above what I sold for, and suddenly I'm going, now I'm going to get 50% as many XRP as I had before. It's a scary concept. With a stable coin, I don't even need to leave the XRP ledger. I can keep my money on my personal ledger. I can move from XRP to a stable coin, watch the price tumble and move back again instantaneously. It makes it a whole lot smoother, a whole lot easier. It means that I have the option to not cash back into fiat and still be in a position where I can jump back into XRP when I'm ready. I still might not do it because personally, I don't need to take profits anytime soon. It's greed that will drive me to do it because I think I can trade and make even more money, even more XRP by taking advantage of the next sort of bear market. But that's a different conversation for a different day. What this means to me is that I don't need to cash in. Most of you guys out there in the world will have the consideration of tax. I don't have it here where I'm based. I've been in finance a long time. This is what I do for a living for my clients. So if I were to cash in my crypto into fiat, I wouldn't actually need to pay any tax on that because of the way I hold it. I can do a different conversation on that. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment box and I'll explain. But realistically, what this gives us is a bridge to the traditional finance world. And nobody out there can tell me I'm wrong when I say we need it. Because 5% of the population, of which 95% of the people holding crypto have a tiny, tiny bag with maybe 50 to 200 bucks in. They've just dipped their toe in the water. We're a tiny, tiny portion of the global investment world. We are at the cutting edge of investments being in the crypto world. And we are very, very few and far between in the grand scheme of things. And the price of crypto will not go where we want it to go based around just us. We don't have enough collateral behind us. There's some wealthy people in the game now. There's some big institutions, big hedge funds. But until the greater world gets involved in this, the price is staying, within what we call retail bull runs. We might see XRP 3 to 10x this time. We're not going to see it hit $250, $500, $1,000. But those numbers can come. I'm not telling you to go out and buy XRP because they're coming next week. I think those numbers will come in the long run. I think it would take 10 years for the world to generally en masse move into crypto. But this news today for XRP, for Ripple, for the greater crypto community is a giant step in the right direction. It's a giant step in the right direction. So I am incredibly excited about it. You guys should be too. Today is a good day. If you like what I've said today, please like, subscribe to the channel. It's great when you do that. YouTube loves it. The algorithm loves it. It shows more people what I'm having to say. And hopefully you do enjoy what I've got to say. If you don't, drop me a comment. Drop me a comment and let me know what you want me to talk about. Drop me a comment and say you don't understand my Mancunian accent. Whatever you want to say, that would be great. I'd love to hear back from you. But in the meantime, I'm going to leave you there. We're at 22 minutes. So thank you very much for your time. I really do appreciate it. And we'll speak again soon. Have a great day. Nick.